Goeienaand luisteraars. Dis Ronel Lemmer en Hans van der Veen met ons sit Koppe Bymekaar weer vanaand en ons het 'n wonderlike gas. Maar voor ek hom voorstel, wil ek net eers vir Thea sê, ek hoop jy geniet jou naweek. Sy het 'n bietjie 'n los loetjie soos ons sê vanaand. Ons wonderlike gas is absoluut iemand met baie ervaring en 'n baie bekende oud inwoner van Oudtshoorn. Sy winkels was een van die oudste winkels in Oudtshoorn in Kerkstraat en die besigheid is in 1919 begin. Klink dit vir my. So ons verwelkom vanaand vir oom Geoff Wilck van Wilck's Bar in Oudtshoorn en hy's al die pad in Israel van Israel afgesels hy met ons. Baie welkom oom Geoff.
Baie dankie.
So lekker om met oom te gesels.
Baie dankie.
Thank you. Will you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
Ja,
Tell us a bit.
Eerstens hallo julle almal, is lekker om te gesels met julle. Ja, ons is 'n bietjie ver weg, maar ons hart is nog altyd daar op Oudtshoorn. Ja, maar jy het vir my voorgestel, ek weet nie wat nog nie.
Oom Geoff, I think you've got so much experience. Hans, maar ek besef nou ek het nooit vir jou 'n kans gegee om vir die luisteraars hallo te sê nie. Kom ons gee net vir jou 'n kans.
Goeienaand luisteraars. Hallo oom Geoff. Hallo Nel.
Oom Geoff, dit is 'n history, nee. Ek dink daar's 'n history wat oom deel van was, 'n deel was van die dorp se vorming en ontwikkeling en ook van mense gesien kom en gaan in Oudtshoorn.
Ja, dit is so. Ja, ek was nie, ek praat van die ou dae toe die Jode eers daar gekom het. En jy weet, what happened was there was anti-Semitism in Lithuania, and a lot of Jews lived there. And then because of the anti-Semitism, and I believe there was a call-up of 25 years to the army. That put the whole thing in a different perspective, and the Jews decided, and they moved out of Lithuania, where they lived for a long time, many years, and they moved all over the world. And the Jews, why did they come to Oudtshoorn? Because of the ostrich feather boom in the late 1800s. And they came there and they started off as smouser farmers, at least traders. You know, it was a difficult time, but they had tenacity and they climbed in, and they were accepted in Oudtshoorn by the locals and by the farming community, very much so. And I think they clicked because hulle was mense van die boek, van die Ou Testament, ek weet nie of nou, maar I think that played a part, and because a lot of them couldn't even speak Afrikaans, and yet they got through, and business was done between them, and that's the way they started. Wat nog kan ek vir jou sê? You know, they got to Oudtshoorn, they established a community there. There were 2 synagogues there. And the one synagogue was established, the first one in 1883 in Queen Street. Yeah, in 1883, there were 2 synagogues, and then for the high holidays, they even hired Lunce's Hall in High Street. That's before my time. And for the overflow service there were so many Jewish people in the town. What else can I say to you? You know, they actually, Oudtshoorn was known as the Little Jerusalem of South Africa. Why?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, look, in Jerusalem, most of the buildings are sandstone, and also in Oudtshoorn there was a lot of sandstone buildings, And I think that the size of the community also played a part in giving it that title of the die kleine Jerusalem van Droom-Afrika. Droom-Afrika is South Africa.
Okay.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah. And coming to our family, you know, so Harry came out first and Jacob. They arrived in 1904, 1905, roughly, and they started smoking. You know, my father Daniel and his brother Morris and their parents, they arrived in about 1914.
Okay.
And
So that was during the war?
no, this was before the war. The worst time. The worst time. By the time they got going and they got the ship and the this and the that, they arrived in 1914, just before there was a slump in the ostrich industry, because I'll tell you, there was the open cars with you know, the open cars were a distraction because women wore hats, beautiful ostrich feather hats, and they couldn't wear them anymore. And so that, you know, I think the ostrich industry came down, and then the First World War started. And it was a very, very hard time. In 1918, there was a flu epidemic. Thousands of people died in South Africa. And there was no vaccine in those days. And so the guys went through quite a hard time. Yeah, so, you know, that's just very quickly how our family sort of got to South Africa.
That's very interesting. Hans, you want to ask something?
Yeah.
Well, I was born there. I was born and bred there.
It's quite similar. When I listened to you, there was when your family arrived here, it was a time of great disruption. I think we also living in a time of great disruption now with the pandemic. I mean, we're sharing the pandemic, the 1918 pandemic, but it's also a time of disruption in terms of global warming and all of these factors that is threatening life as we know it. Yeah. You were talking about your family that arrived here that were smoser. So what is a smose in English?
I would say a smose is a walker. Is a walker.
Yeah. So what would that walk? I mean, if I think about a smose on the street now, you'll see maybe somebody selling veggies or sunglasses or cell phone accessories or whatever. What did that smosing involve in those days?
Well, look, what happened was somehow, I don't know how, but it started that the guys used to leave on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, and they used to go out into the district, far into the district. And my dad used to walk over the Swartberg into Prince Albert, past Prince Albert. I've forgotten the place called there now. It's a pity, I just can't remember the name. That's the guys used to sleep on the mountain. I mean, my dad told me he slept on the mountain, and one morning he woke up and he saw that a snake had gone right over him. I was doing funny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so, you know, the guys really worked hard, went out all week, came back Friday because Friday night and Saturday was Shabbat. And then everybody was in shul, it was in a synagogue. And I spent the weekend, of course, with their families. And that was life in those days. You know, they bartered a lot of the stuff. They would take out stuff which the farmers needed and bring back, whether it was butter or whatever it was, cheese. And they had a good connection with the farmers. and they were treated very well. They stayed over sleep over in the barns there at the farmers' homes, and they would many times, entertain, well, not entertain, but give them food. My dad tells the story, there must be about 15 people, mostly Snowser, around the table, and this woman liked my dad, this farmer's wife liked my dad, and she put a bit of pork meat in the soup that she served. Well, toe my pa dit sien toe, hy weet nie wat om te maak nie. Hy weet nie hoe om te reageer nie.
Sure.
And he sits and sy sê vir hom, Danny, maar eet die sop, is lekker sop. So my dad says, I'm not feeling well, my stomach is upset. Do you mind making me a hard-boiled egg? Hy kon nie die varkvleis eet nie.
Sisto.
And that's the goodness of the people. They, she did it out of the goodness of her heart. She didn't realize it, but my dad, of course, keeping kosher and so on, it's part and parcel. One doesn't know at times why you have to do it, but I think you mustn't ask questions. It's not logical why you can't eat or drink milk after meat. It's just, that's the way it is, and we must accept it.
Acceptance. Acceptance is a big thing without understanding always.
That's right.
It seems, luisteraars, ons het nou alweer gekom by 'n advertensiebreek. Dit is so interessant, oom Geoff Wilck gesels met ons vanaand. Oom Geoff het gesê hy is baie lief vir boeremusiek en hy soek iets wat 'n bietjie 'n stewige ritme het. So ons gaan nou 'n bietjie luister na die Klipwerf Orkees se Wie se kind is jy? Welkom luisteraars terug by Eden FM en ons sit koppe bymekaar met my Ronel Lemmer en Hans van der Veen. Ons spesiale gas vanaand is oom Geoff Wilck, wie se winkel een van die oudste besighede in Oudtshoorn se Kerkstraat was en is, en dit is in 1919 begin in Kerkstraat. Oom Geoff, vertel vir ons 'n bietjie van die storie van die winkel en
baie dankie.
Hoe dit gegroei het.
Wel kyk, jy weet, na die slump, alles het geval en pryse was, en die manne het rondgekyk, wat moet hulle maak, en toe begin hulle die besigheid, soos jy sê, established in 1919, and today it's over 100 years old.
Sure.
And Wilck Brothers was started then. And the funny part about it is today it's still Wilck Brothers. Daar's twee broers daar wat in die winkel is. Vir my is dit wonderlik.
It's just beautiful to see that.
The way it's turned, and 4 generations. Eerste was Harry en Jacob en die ouers. En toe het my pa gekom, hy het oorgevat. En dan het ek en Esther oorgevat by my pa, en op die oomblik is Rael, Dalia en Paul, hulle is aan die gang daar. So, ja, dit is wonderlik. Kyk in die ou dae, die manne, they used to buy feathers and export it. Honey, aloes, Jacob was known as the oorseese wilkie. Want jy weet, daar's 4 broers. Morris het mos weggebreek en hy het a ladies outfitters in High Street, I think it was, and with his wife Leah, en dan agterna het Leon oorgevat daar, maar die ander 3 broers het gebly saam, and so Jacob did that side of the business, And Harry and my dad went into men's and ladies' outfitters and furniture and imported various goods. En so het ons gegaan vir jare. Ons is in Kerkstraat. En gedurende die oorlog was daar taamlik van die Joodse winkels wat afgebrand het. En ja, dit was
in Oudtshoorn. Geoff, was dit in Oudtshoorn?
Dit was in Oudtshoorn en ek dink dit was jy weet there was anti-Semitism had raised its head again. And yeah, so we were in Green's building. At first we were in Church Street, where we are today, where the wool shop is, and the Tops liquor store. That's where we were for many years. And then only afterwards we moved lower down to and opened up on the supermarket side and closed up on the other sides, because that was the sign of the times. And yeah, so I got back to Oudtshoorn in 1961, and I went into a counter service business. That's where I started.
Sure.
Tikkies se suiker en pennies se dit en ek weet nie wat nie, maar en so het ons aangegaan. Afterwards, of course, I looked at the supermarketing, and that's the way we eventually went. But what I wanted to say is, yeah, then I eventually joined the Chamber of Commerce. That was nou die Engelse sakekamer. You know, there was the Afrikaanse sakekamer and the Engelse sakekamer.
Oh, they were separate.
Yeah, separate. And anyway, I don't know why I was drawn to the Afrikaanse sakekamer, and I actually asked for membership, but I was refused membership. I think because I was English speaking. You know, in the early 60s, it was still really raw, and after the war and whatever. And maybe because I was Jewish too, I'm not sure. But I must tell you that eventually the two organizations combined. And that was a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Hans, sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Hans, you seem eager to ask something.
Yeah. Geoff, ek onthou my oom wat ook nou in Oudtshoorn groot geraak het in Johan Blighnout het gepraat van oor hierdie antisemitisme. Like I think he spoke about like 15 Jewish businesses got burned down during the war, and so it was quite. Was there ever anyone convicted, found guilty of that, or
no, nothing. Not that I know of. So, you know, where we were in Church Street, that was burnt, so they moved down to Green's building. Green had a tobacco factory upstairs, and we had our store downstairs, opposite M. Wilck and Company. They were where Cuthbert's eventually were first over there. That's where we were. No, there was nothing, you know, it was, what can one say? Those were the things that happened. And I think the Jewish community were generally very grateful for being accepted into the country, and that they established their roots there. You know, that was the paramount thing in their minds, I think. So although these things were unpleasant, because I don't think many Jewish people didn't even participate in politics. They felt that they didn't want to go that route, although there were quite a few guys in the community that went the political way. There were a couple of people like Louis Locketts became the mayor, and Sol Green became a mayor of the town. So, you know, there was a lot of openness as well. I don't want to give the impression that it was a, you know, it was that the Jewish people actually lived very well. Overall lived very well there. And, you know, I mean, I went to school, I was brought up there, and it was a wonderful life. Lekker rugby gespeel.
Geoff, I remember, it's funny enough, in the last 2 weeks, you were quoted twice at meetings that I attended. The one was at the Rotary, I think it was Kalkleroe from the Horing, that said, when Geoff Wilck always spoke about the fragmentation, die fragmentasie van die Oudtshoorn gemeenskap as die nommer 1 probleem. En ek wil baie graag hoor, wat word daarmee bedoel? Want ek dink as jy soveel jare 'n besigheid gehad het en soveel jare hier gebly het, dan leer 'n mens tog die gemeenskap ken en ja, vertel vir ons bietjie.
Jy weet Hans, verskoon. Jy weet I joined the as I say the Chamber of Commerce, and then afterwards we joined the two together, and it was the Oudtshoorn a business chamber, Oudtshoorn Besigheidskamer. And that was a vibrant organization in my book, and still is a wonderful organization. And so, one attended meetings. They used to send out, we used to be delegates to various forums, police forum, welfare forum, the car guards, and so on. So I used to attend the meetings, and they were always bickering and arguing and everything, man. It was 'n bietjie van 'n Bymekaar spel waar ek het gevoel ons kan meer gehandhaaf het with all the arguments and things, I don't want to go into all the nasty side of it, but it wasn't pleasant. And before my time, when I got there, the Oudtshoorn Cricket Club was over 100 years old, the most wonderful cricket club. And how come they disbanded? Because of arguments. Die man het gestry laat die stof so staan. Nee man, so my feeling was, and my feeling still is, there's no harm in being part of something. You can be part of your own, in your church, in whatever. That there's no problem with that. And you don't have to agree with everybody. You can argue with people. But my belief is that you must show respect and you must have tolerance. You can't belittle people. That's crucial. Well, in politics, unfortunately, it's pretty bad. But, I'm saying with brotherly or sisterly love, that's what's required. Hatred is a cancer. It's a bad trait. And I believe in live and let live. Then things will come right. You see, look, things have changed. I think Oudtshoorn has improved. It's also become a little bit more cosmopolitan. But my belief is that unity is strength. And that's the South African motto. Unity is strength. And that's what the community needs to understand, that they need to pull together. The quicker they do it, the better.
Oom Geoff Wilck, met sy absolute wonderlike wysheid vanaand hier by ons sit Koppe Bymekaar. Sjoe, oom Geoff, ek kry sommer rillings as ek so luister na die wysheid en die wonderlike insig om aan albei kante van die wêreld te staan en te ervaar wat u ervaar het. Ons gaan net nou verder gesels. Luisteraars, bly asseblief ingeskakel om na die volgende gedeelte te luister van ons gesprek met oom Geoff Wilck. En ons gaan nou luister na 'n absolute gunsteling van myself ook, maar ook oom Geoff het vir ons die liedjie gegee, Havana Gila, en ons luister na die weergawe van Andrei Ree. Terug weer eens by die volgende gedeelte van ons het Koppe Bymekaar hier op Eden FM. Hans van der Veen wil vir oom Geoff Wilck 'n baie interessante vraag vra.
Oom Geoff, Oom David Piet, dit was onlangs die herdenking van sy 81ste verjaarsdag, hy is oorlede verlede jaar, en hy het baie keer het ek gehoor vra hy die vraag, en hy het dit ook vir my gevra, is hoe het julle, wat nou blanke mense is, hoe het julle die forced removals beleef? Hier in Oudtshoorn is blijkbaar een van die eerste dorpe wat dit begin toepas het. En ek wil daai tyd was ek nou so 'n bietjie voor my geboorte, of ek was 'n baba gewees, maar ek wil net graag hoor, wat in Oudtshoorn, hoe het dit uitgespeel? Wat het oom, wat onthou oom daar?
Kyk, ons praat nou miskien van die 50e jare, het dit al begin. En ja, dit was nie 'n lekker tyd nie. Ek kon nie verstaan hoekom waar mense woon moet hulle nou skuif. En I don't know, it was a new government, and they'd been out in the cold for so long, and they come in with these drastic measures which, of course, it's not part of who you are, that what it is, but I could understand that they were out in the cold for so long, and now they wanted to take over. And it wasn't the right thing to do in Oudtshoorn, where people had lived for so long, they were upended. And I mean, it was a terrible time for the colored community. They had basically a wonderful community. What could I say? As I say, I was very young, and I don't, I didn't quite understand the whole setup there. And I think that my parents didn't talk too much about it either. We just understood, and because ons was nuwe intrekkers, as ek so kan sê, het ons stil gebly. Jy weet, ons het nie, there was objections obviously, but I think the Jewish community by and large stepped back and kept a low profile because of course, there were quite a few Jewish people that made a big fuss and bother about it. And in the political sphere all the years, I'm pleased to say that Jews have played their part in that way. But my dad didn't want to push and felt that we should, rather leave it to the population to sort out. He didn't want to get involved himself, and that's the way. I just know that I've got to be tolerant of everybody. I've got to respect everybody. It doesn't matter what he's got or what he hasn't got. It's simple. Jy weet, jy hoef nie universiteit toe te gaan vir sulke dinge nie. It's just normal and natural to respect people.
It sounds like you said earlier, Geoff, dat sommige dinge moet mens net aanvaar. Al maak dit nie vir jou sin nie, jy moet dit maar net aanvaar. Sommige dinge is maar net so. En ek hou van wat Geoff sê, dat respek is tog 'n baie goeie, as liefde die huis se dak se naam is, dan is respek een van die mure. Ons kan nie verkondig dat ons liefde leef as ons nie respek leef nie.
Absoluut.
Ek stem nogal saam met Geoff daar. Ja. Ek is baie nuuskierig oor hoe julle die virus en die pandemie in Israel ervaar het, Geoff.
Ja, kyk, hier was dit glad nie lekker nie. 3 lockdowns. Die manne het skoon mal gegaan hierso.
Sure.
So, jy weet, ons is nou, ek dink as 'n jaar en 'n half wat ons laat Oudtshoorn was. Ons kon nie eens uitvlieg nie, die lughawe was toe. En probeer soos hulle wil, of soos hulle geprobeer het dinge nie lekker uitgewerk in die begin nie, maar hulle het aangehou, en hier staan ons nou, waar alles oop was vir die paastyd, al die families kon weer by mekaar kom. We've had 2 vaccinations already.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and they issue a green card to everybody. So if you go to a restaurant or a public place, dan vra hulle vir jou, waar is jou kaart op, wel, anders dan kom jy nie in nie. So you got to show your green card that you've had 2 vaccinations. And, you know, the whole, well, over 50% of the population have been vaccinated already.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Of course, there's still only a lot that still only have 1 vaccination, but they're now starting with the kids. And that will be the last part, the children. We did the older people first. And so it hasn't been a good time, but thank God for Zoom.
Yes.
Uitgehelp, soos op die oomblik, en dat ons nog kan aangaan. You know, as I've said, the lectures and things have kept us occupied. We haven't been bored. We're not bored here, I must tell you. As I say, it's vibrant society. Ek leef op pille hier so om my 'n bietjie bedaard te hou.
Bietjie chill pille, oom Geoff.
Maar dis lekker, ja, ons ek stap na die sinagoge toe. Ek wou eintlik ek het gevra dat ek 'n rabbi word, maar hulle sê nee, jy het 7 jaar se studie. Ek sê nee, kyk op wel, dis 'n bietjie te lank. Ek is al nou amper 60. Ek het nie tyd daarvoor nie.
Ja.
Oom Geoff is 'n jong 60.
Ja, and so ek moet, you know, I think the by and large, the Israelis are quite tough and they've knuckled down to it. There was a fair percentage of people that never wore masks and, you know, didn't wash their hands and didn't keep their distance. And that caused a bit of problem, especially in the cities. But we don't live in the city, we're in a smaller area. And but very nice here, and there are people from all over the world here. That's remarkable. You know, that kyk op Oudtshoorn, jy's gewoond aan dieselfde mense hele tyd. En hier is kom hulle van Rusland en van Frankryk en ek weet nie van waar in die hele wêreld is hier. En die weermag speel 'n baie groot rol in dat al hierdie mense in die weermag gaan vir 3 jaar, die seuns, die dogters vir 2 jaar, en as hulle uitkom, dan is hulle Israelies. So, jy weet, hulle speel 'n baie groot rol. En, ja, soos ek sê, dit is baie veilig hier in die land. Maar natuurlik, on the borders and outside, kyk, die manne hou nie van ons nie. En dis moeilik, alhoewel op die oomblik met die Abraham Accords is ongelooflik wat gebeur het. En there's a wonderful connection there between the others, Bahrain and United Arab Emirates. So ons hoop dat die toekoms sal baie beter wees.
I think the Jews, the Jews have got the ability to bounce back. Whatever happens, they always bounce back.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wonderful example for all human beings that, you know, no matter how hard you fall, you can bounce back.
That's it. It's important because I don't know. I think basically it's a belief in God, by and large. And because the Jewish people have gone through, I mean, over 2,000 years of exodus, you know, from where they were in all different countries, and yeah, you're finding the guys are coming back. Yeah, we found ourselves here, Of course, we've got family here, my sister, brother-in-law, and their families. I've got cousins, and Esther's got cousins. So it has made a softer landing for us, having him here. But it's for me spiritually, it's wonderful being here. I don't know. I just find that that's so good.
It's like when I listen to you, Geoff, it's almost like you're saying, dit voel of jy by die huis aangekom het. Is dit reg? Is that?
Well, ja,
klink so.
Ja, daar's iets wat in my is. Ek weet nie wat dit is nie. Maar ek is bly om hier te wees. Hoekom weet ek nie. Maar ek moet sê ons geniet ons tyd hier en alhoewel ons het teruggekom 2 keer 'n jaar Oudtshoorn toe natuurlik, maar nou mis ons die dorp aan.
Wat mis oom Geoff van Oudtshoorn?
Wel, as ek met regheid sê, ek mis die kamer, besigheidskamer.
En natuurlik die
en besigheidskamer wonderlik. I miss the what can I say, the beauty of the place. I was born there and I was bred there, and Oudtshoorn is in our hearts. It's just natural that it's there. We miss the beauty of the place, the nature, the mountains, the friendliness of the people, the hospitality. We miss our clients.
Ja.
And Oudtshoorn has got a unique character which grows on one. You don't realize it, but when we move away, you realize what it's meant to you. It's given me a great education, culture, opportunities to develop. I had an amazing childhood there, and I'll always be grateful for that. What can I say? It's a wonderful place. I do miss that.
Yeah. If there's something that you can wish for Oudtshoorn, maybe now living in Israel, that you notice that Oudtshoorn can do with, what would that be? What can help Oudtshoorn become sort of a better version of itself, an upgrade of itself? How would you describe that, Geoff?
To me, everything is there. It's just the people have got to realize it. And look, I believe in God, and I believe that the closer one gets to God, the better things will be for everybody. And that will cause the unity which I would like to see there, a much greater unity there. I mean, from the early days to now, there's been a big change. And so, I hope that Oudtshoorn will become a developer into a tourist mecca. The possibilities are a lot of possibilities there. And I think that the one thing I like about the business chamber is that they're planting so many trees. That is such a wonderful thing. Excuse me. For the hot climate we have, the trees is always a good thing. Here in Israel, hulle plant bome hierso dat die stof sou stand.
Sure. Die stof sou stand.
Ja, miljoene bome, man, dit is ongelooflik.
Dit is fantasties.
Dit is bly om te hoor dat die besigheidskamer dit ook, ek weet nie hoe dit vorder nie, maar toe ek dit hoor, was ek so bly. And I just would like people to live in peace and harmony. Soos Hans sê, no fragmentation. Of hoe sê ek nou, Hans?
Yes, the fragmentation must be curbed.
So I wish the town. Look, another thing that's always I didn't like. Look, if I must be honest, the business community pays a lot of rates and taxes. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And I found that the center of the business area is neglected by municipality. I don't want to, I want to be honest. That's my feeling. There should be far more. There's be a bit of an upgrade there, a bit of greenery, and see that everything is good for the customer. Make the town a little bit more. What do you want to say? Make it more attractive. Yeah, all right. Let's use the word attractive. But that's just the by and by. We fought for that. They had plans years ago for upgrade, but it never materialized. And yeah. Anyway, I wish the municipality well. I wish them good luck.
Thank you, Geoff. Hans, is daar iets wat jy dalk nog wil sê vir die Oudtshoorn net so verlaas? By aansluiting by Geoff.
When I listen to you, Geoff, the causes of this fragmentation, I wonder whether we should put emphasis or spend energy on trying to understand where this fragmentation is coming from. That's the one question. Yeah. And the other thing is also like that we need to discuss of where we're going to, what is the sort of community, what is the Oudtshoorn of the future going to look like? When I look at the business chamber, it's a predominantly, or it's a white organization, but it doesn't reflect the town people, the population. So it feels to me there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Even in the early days with the Chamber of Commerce, we tried to get colored, and we had coloreds involved, but they didn't stay. We didn't work it properly. We didn't understand it. And even now in the business chamber, we've also tried to bring in the blacks to be part, because that's the way we feel. The business chamber wants to have a cosmopolitan crowd sitting there. But I don't think that they're ready yet. I don't know, we seem to be ready. I don't know, maybe not seeing the light properly, how to approach it. But yes, I do agree with you. There is a gap there, definitely, that needs to be fixed up. And then this, I would say, as far as fragmentation goes, why not call a public meeting and let the people get up and talk and say and take note of what they're saying, because that out of that something could also happen. I don't know, I don't mean to sound negative, but you weet, ek verwag baie van Oudtshoorn.
Geoff, maybe it's a way to show respect is to listen to each other.
Yeah.
To give someone a chance to speak and to really listen to what they really want and really need. Maybe that will be the start for respect.
Absolutely, because when you listen to another, but listen, have your own thought and bugger them, you actually listen to what they're saying and try to understand it. I think then you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. Yes, listening is very, very important.
Ja. Luisteraars, het lyk vir my ons is weer aan die einde van 'n program vanaand hier by Eden FM. Ons het Koppe bymekaar. Ons het vir oom Geoff Wilck as 'n gas gehad en dit was 'n wonderlike voorreg. What a wonderful privilege to have been able to speak to you. And thank you for your insight and your wisdom. Wat ek sal saamvat, oom Geoff, is met my uit vanaand se gesprek is unity is strength, live and let live and respect each other, but also listen to each other. Baie dankie. Hans, is daar nog iets wat jy verlaas wil sê?
Ja, oom Geoff, baie dankie vir die sharing. En ja, dis wonderlik Ek wens ons kan nog baie gesels en ek dink daar is dalk hooplik in die toekoms 'n geleentheid om verder te gesels en te probeer sens maak van this fragmentation and how we can form really strengthen through unity.
Absolutely. Because there are good people in Oudtshoorn. There are a lot of really good people. I mean, I'll take yourself and Ronel, and there's a lot of people, but somehow we're not getting together. We're running past one another. En ek dink dat julle moet probeer met daai besigheidskamer gesels dat hulle iets aan die gang kry daar. Dat hulle die manne bymekaar kry en 'n bietjie oop gesels.
Dit klink na 'n baie goeie plan. Baie dankie oom Geoff Wilck. Luisteraars, ons gaan nou na een van oom Geoff se gunstelinge luister en dis verbasend genoeg die Yellow Submarine van die Beatles. Dit was nou so lekker dat dit een van sy gunsteling liedjies is. 'n Goeie aand vir julle almal en ons gesels weer. Lekker aand.
Baie dankie. Bye.
In the town where I was born